Did you know that 64% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, even in one of the most prosperous economies in the world? Or that most people who don't invest lose out on thousands of dollars in compound interest over their lifetime? Here's a powerful fact: the greatest fortunes aren't built on luck or shortcuts, but on rational and consistent decisions, and that's what sets apart names like Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, and Charlie Munger. These financial giants share something in common. They all follow principles aligned with the wisdom of the Stoics, a philosophy that for over 2,000 years has taught self-control, patience, and focus on what truly matters. In 2025, these same ideas could be the key to transforming your finances and your life. Today, I'm going to share 10 money rules that will not only change the way you handle your finances but also your habits and decisions. By combining Stoic philosophy with financial principles from legends like Buffett, Dalio, Munger, and even John Bogle, the creator of the index fund, you'll have the tools to achieve financial freedom.
Are you ready to start?
Let's dive into the first rule.
1. Build an emergency fund first.
The foundation of any solid financial plan starts with an emergency fund. This is the money that will save you from panic when things don't go as planned. It could be an unexpected medical expense, a sudden car repair, or even a job loss. Without this fund, you risk falling into debt and jeopardizing the rest of your financial plan. Financial experts like Dave Ramsey always emphasize the importance of having at least $1,000 as an initial goal for basic emergencies. However, in the long term, the ideal is to have 3 to 6 months of essential expenses saved. For example, if your fixed monthly costs total $3,000, your goal should be to save between $9,000 and $18,000 in a safe and accessible account. It doesn't have to be complicated. Start with what you have. If you save $400 a month, in 6 months you'll have $2,400, already a solid step ahead of most people. This fund will give you the peace of mind to focus on your next financial steps without fear of unexpected events.
2. Pay yourself first.
One of the most important rules when it comes to money is simple: pay yourself first. This idea was popularized by George S. Clason in his classic book The Richest Man in Babylon and remains one of the cornerstones of wealth building. The logic is clear: if you don't prioritize saving, you'll end up spending everything and saving nothing. Paying yourself first means setting aside a percentage of your income as soon as it arrives, before paying bills, buying things, or dining out. This money goes directly into your savings or investments. A good starting point is 20% of your income, but if that feels like too much, start with 10%. For example, if you earn $4,000 a month and save 10%, you'll set aside $400. That may not seem like much, but over the course of a year, that's $4,800. And if you invest that money at an average annual return of 8%, it could grow to more than $36,000 in 10 years. This habit separates those who build wealth from those who always try to save whatever's left. Don't rely on what's left at the end of the month. Pay yourself first, every time. 3. Invest consistently, no matter the market. Investing regularly is one of the most powerful strategies for building wealth. And it doesn't matter what's happening in the market: highs, lows, or moments of uncertainty. This approach was championed by John Bogle, the founder of Vanguard Group, who popularized index fund investing. Consistency is what separates successful investors from those who try to time the market perfectly. The idea is simple: invest a fixed amount every month, regardless of market conditions. This is known as dollar cost averaging. When the market is down, you buy more shares for the same amount of money. When it's up, you buy fewer shares. Over the long term, this method helps smooth out risks and increase your returns. For example, if you invest $200 per month in an index fund like the S&P 500, which has historically delivered an average annual return of 8%, you could accumulate over $36,000 in 10 years. And if you stick with this habit for 20 years, that grows to more than $120,000. The key here isn't to predict what the market will do tomorrow, but to keep investing consistently over time. The market rewards patience and discipline, a lesson that legendary investors like Warren Buffett have practiced for decades. 4. Invest in what you understand. Putting your money into something you don't understand is one of the biggest mistakes an investor can make. Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors in history, famously says, "Never invest in a business you cannot understand." This approach protects you from making decisions based on speculation rather than logic. For example, if you're familiar with real estate, you could start by investing in REITs, real estate investment trusts, which allow you to invest in the real estate market with small amounts of money. If you understand technology, you might explore companies like Apple or Microsoft, whose business models are well known and straightforward. Another example is investing in ETFs, exchange-traded funds, for specific sectors you're familiar with. If you work in healthcare, You could invest in an ETF that covers pharmaceutical and biotech companies. Knowing the market reduces surprises and increases your chances of success. The rule is simple: if you can't explain how an investment works in a short sentence, don't put your money into it. Industry leaders like Peter Lynch emphasize this point as well, saying, invest in what you know, and risk automatically decreases. 5. Diversify, but don't overdo it. Diversification is one of the best ways to protect your investments from risk. Big names like Ray Dalio, founder of Bridgewater Associates, advocate for smart diversification to help your portfolio thrive in any economic environment. But beware, over-diversifying can dilute your returns and make it harder to track where your money is going. For example, imagine you have $10,000 to invest. A balanced approach might include allocating part of it to index funds, like the S&P 500, to benefit from the growth of the stock market, another part to treasury bonds for stability during uncertain times, and perhaps a fraction to gold as a traditional hedge against inflation. This type of diversification reduces the impact of losses in any single sector, ensuring that a drop in the stock market, for instance, is offset by gains in more conservative assets. Now consider another scenario. You decide to invest in 30 different stocks across various sectors, thinking it will provide more security.
The result?
You lose focus, increase your administrative costs, and struggle to track the performance of each asset. This is what we call over-diversification. Warren Buffett takes a more focused approach to diversification. He prefers to invest heavily in a few companies he understands well and believes in their potential. His philosophy is clear: diversify enough to protect your portfolio, but maintain the control necessary to ensure solid growth. If you believe that knowledge and a strong mindset are the keys to transforming your financial future, hit that subscribe button now. Leave a comment sharing your biggest insight, send this video to someone who needs it, and don't forget to give it a like to help spread the message. Let's grow together with wisdom and purpose. 6. Reinvest your earnings. Reinvesting your earnings is like adding fuel to the engine of financial growth. Instead of spending the dividends or interest you receive, reinvesting them allows your money to keep growing. For example, imagine you have $20,000 invested in stocks that pay annual dividends of 4%. That amounts to $800 per year. If you spend those dividends, your portfolio's growth will be slower. But if you reinvest them, the following year you'll earn dividends on $20,800, and so on. Reinvesting doesn't stop with stocks. Jeff Bezos reinvested Amazon's early profits to expand the business instead of distributing them as dividends. Today, Amazon is one of the most valuable companies in the world. While this is an extreme example, the principle remains the same: use your earnings to generate even greater returns. As Charlie Munger says, the big money is not in the buying and selling, but in the waiting. By reinvesting, you let time work for you, turning small gains into exponential growth. 7. Avoid financial decisions driven by fear or greed. Emotional decisions are the greatest enemy of financial success. During the 2008 financial crisis, many investors sold their stocks in a panic, only to see the markets recover in the following years. Conversely, during the cryptocurrency frenzy, some people risked everything on volatile assets and ended up losing nearly all of it. Ray Dalio teaches that calmness is an investor's secret weapon. A clear plan and long-term goals can help you resist both panic and euphoria. For example, if the stock market drops by 20%, it doesn't mean you should sell everything. Instead, consider it an opportunity to buy quality assets at a discount. Similarly, if a stock you own skyrockets by 100% in a week, ask yourself, is this growth sustainable or driven by speculation? Staying focused on your plan and ignoring market noise is what separates disciplined investors from impulsive ones. Think like John Bogle. Stay calm, invest consistently, and ignore the headlines.
8. Think long-term.
Building wealth doesn't happen overnight. John Bogle famously said, "The market rewards patience." This means every financial decision should be evaluated for its impact 5, 10, or even 20 years down the road. For example, instead of spending $5,000 on a used luxury car, consider investing that amount. By putting it into an IRA, individual retirement account, with an average return of 7%, that money could grow to more than $19,000 in 20 years. Another way to think long-term is by focusing on your children's financial education. Many parents open 529 college savings plans to help cover future college expenses. Starting early can significantly reduce or even eliminate the need for student loans in the future. Warren Buffett exemplifies this principle perfectly. He bought his first stocks at the age of 11 and maintained a long-term focus for over 7 decades, building one of the largest fortunes in the world. 9. Have multiple sources of income. Relying on a single source of income is a risk that many people don't realize until it's too late. Great investors like Ray Dalio and entrepreneurs like Elon Musk understand that diversifying income is just as important as diversifying investments. When you have multiple sources of income, you increase your financial security and reduce the impact of unexpected events, such as losing your job or facing a decline in your primary business. A practical example is creating a stream of passive income. Imagine you own a rental property that generates $1,200 per month. That income could cover your essential expenses or be reinvested into other assets. Another option is exploring digital platforms, such as creating an online course or selling products on marketplaces, which can generate additional income without requiring your constant presence. You can also start smaller, like investing in dividend-paying stocks. Suppose you have $30,000 invested in stocks that yield 4% annually in dividends. That results in $1,200 per year, a modest passive income that can be reinvested or allocated to specific goals. Big names like Jeff Bezos started small, investing in side ideas that grew over time. The lesson is clear: don't rely on a single source of income. Diversifying your financial streams could be the difference between stability and stress during challenging times. 10. Don't compare your progress to others. One of the biggest mistakes you can make on your financial journey is comparing yourself to others. The temptation is real, especially in the age of social media, where it seems like everyone is buying houses, luxury cars, or vacationing in exotic locations. But the truth is, you don't see what's happening behind the scenes. Many people are drowning in debt or living beyond their means to maintain that image. The Stoics teach that true happiness comes from focusing on what is within your control, and this is critical when it comes to finances. Everyone has a different journey, with unique challenges and goals. Jeff Bezos started Amazon in a garage and spent years without turning a profit before becoming one of the richest men in the world. Comparing yourself to him during those early years would have been pointless, as his timeline was completely different from that of other businesses. Instead of measuring yourself by other people's standards, focus on your own financial goals. If your objective is to save $10,000 in a year and you've managed to save $8,000, that's an incredible achievement. What matters isn't what someone else has done, but how far you've come compared to where you started. Big names like Warren Buffett never worried about competing with other investors. He stayed focused on what he knew best and maintained a long-term perspective. You can do the same. Celebrate your progress and adjust your goals based on your own reality. If you've made it this far, congratulations. These 10 rules may seem simple at first glance, but they are incredibly powerful when put into practice. The secret is understanding that building financial freedom isn't about luck or shortcuts. It's about consistency, patience, and well-thought-out decisions. Think about it. By applying these rules, you could save thousands of dollars, create alternative income streams, and invest smarter. This won't just protect your present, it will also build a future of stability and opportunity. Consider what names like Warren Buffett and Ray Dalio have achieved by following similar principles. They started small, made rational decisions, and played the long game. But here's an important reminder: every journey is unique. Don't worry if your progress feels slow or if someone else's path seems easier. What truly matters is consistency and your commitment to your own goals. Now, the question you need to answer is, which of these 10 rules will you start applying today? Remember, every decision you make is a step toward your financial freedom. Time is on your side, but it only works if you take action.